Okay, we're gonna try this again. Let me tell you, when you go through a quantum something rather, everything goes, yay, I'm back. Hi, everybody. I was like, I refuse to have this happen again. This time it was caused by somebody else. Hi, yes, Elle, I'm back. Thank you. Yes, everybody, like the live as you are popping in. Elle, I'm back. Oh my goodness. So I'm gonna go back to the notes. I did get rid of the last video, so I will just kind of explain everything again, just a tad. So what we were talking about today is becoming an unstoppable creative powerhouse, overcoming self-sabotage, and expressing your magic is what it should say. And one of the first things that I was saying is to always begin with some sort of idea of your highest way of expressing yourself and what that would look like for you. Because again, you need to have some sort of foundation, even if you have a vision on how you want to show your art or your dance or your tarot videos or your TikTok. You might be going through it and say, I don't know if this is right for my energy, but then you'll be able to tweak it, and that's okay. But you have to have some place to start so that when you do deviate from that, you realize when you are self-sabotaging along your path. So for folks who are here, let's see what you said. I've been experimenting with that, like with posting and dressing up, for example. Yeah. So anybody who's here, feel free to write it in the chat. How do you see yourself moving through your expression on like your highest timeline? Like, what is your highest self doing? What are you doing? What does it feel like? What does it feel like in your heart space? I'm pulling up my notes. So I want to make sure I cover all the things that I have been wanting to talk about with you all. I think when it got cut off, we were talking about, yes, common things that artists do when it comes to blocking themselves. And even if you know that in the past you have sabotaged yourself with your projects or being an entrepreneur or putting yourself out there, like time goes by and you're still not taking the steps that you need to change your life, change your business, really push the needle. Check in with every area of your life, because sometimes if you if you are someone who sabotages with your career, you likely sabotage in other areas of your life. And that way of sabotaging may be masquerading in a different part of your business if you're trying to move it forward, but it just looks different this time. For instance, I was talking to a friend today and we were talking about self-sabotaging and all these things, and how in one phase it can look like you literally not taking action, but then maybe you begin to take action. And then the next month you realize you start to self-sabotage in the way of your mental health or your wellness, and you are your brand. So it's another version of self-sabotaging, but it's masquerading as something else now. You're not able to see that you're self-sabotaging because you still feel like, and you are taking action, but you're not taking care of yourself. Like you're learning how to stack your wellness skills and your ability to be a powerhouse and be unstoppable with your creativity. But you also need to give yourself room to realize when this happens. Let me go back. There we go. It was like not scrolling. Expressing my magic like the most authentic, loving version of me. Play and fun with what I'm doing. I love that. What's one thing you would do every day, Elle? This topic is right on time for me. Awesome. Yeah, self-sabotage has been in my face still. Yeah, it masquerades as, it's like a little sneaky worm. Just sometimes it changes form until you get a hold of each aspect of your life and can more easily spot it. I've been feeling like I want to experiment with how I do my readings, make videos on my channel. Ooh, what's driving that? Do tell. Hi, Victoria. How are ya? How are ya? Yeah, do write in the chat, Victoria, because you're joining right now, and anybody else who is tuned in. How do you see yourself on your highest timeline navigating through life? Yes, it definitely slithers in. It's like very subtle. That's why you always need friends who are going to come in and call you on who you are, what you are doing, and also putting yourself into spaces that you want to expand with it, right? Because those people who are the experts at what they are doing are likely also not going to engage with you if you are someone who self-sabotages, because they're way makers, they're change makers, they're entrepreneurs, they've been around the block, so they know how to sustain themselves, and they know when their energy is getting drained, and they don't self-sabotage as much. So being in that energy can really help. But some of the most common ones, as many of you know, or maybe you don't know, perfectionism, right? We have fear of judgment and procrastination. I feel like, no, I know that most entrepreneurs, and honestly, a lot of spiritual healers procrastinate so much. It's one of the most common reasons that people can't get their businesses off the ground. And while there is the perfectionism, fear of judgment, all the stuff, it all rolls up into procrastination, right? Because if you feel like you are fearful of being judged, you're not going to do the thing, which means you are also procrastinating, which means you are delaying. If you fear that it's not the way you want it to look right now, and you're being hypersensitive or hyper perfectionistic about the details of something, instead of just letting it be like a minimal viable product, right? That's still procrastinating, because you're still delaying things. Like, everything rolls up into procrastination. And folks who are neurodivergent also have that tendency as well. Not everybody, but it's a little bit harder to move on your path and find a rhythm that is right for you, while also channeling a lot of information. So having a divinely led business, it's important to always stay anchored into your mission, into who you are, why are you doing this work, and where you are going, so that you know when you are procrastinating. I was at this really cool book gathering this weekend with other writers who are just like powerhouse writers. We all are fucking phenomenal. And everybody had a little bit of a workflow. But we were talking about how certain people work well with deadlines and some people don't. And even if you don't work well with a deadline, you kind of need a deadline so that you don't procrastinate. And how challenging it can be in the beginning of your journey to hold yourself accountable for that deadline, because you are the entrepreneur, you are the boss. And so it's easy to change that little number, like back one day, and then before you know it, you're back 1 month. So also write in the chat if you what is one of the challenges that you are having right now in your businesses that you would prefer to be different, right? Like, where are you seeing that you're not getting enough momentum, or that maybe you are self-sabotaging yourself? Hold on. I love playing music. I love posting tarot readings to just be surrounded in magic and fun. I've been knowing I'm bringing in new things too, whether it's through frequency and what I bring in the 3D world as more spiritual gifts come online. What's driving that is a great question. I think I'm avoiding being consistent. Why do you think you're avoiding being consistent? Consistency is also one of the easiest things to do in some cases, but one of the hardest things for people to do in most cases. The reason why I say that is because when I say it like that is businesses become successful because they are consistent at the thing that they are doing, or they are consistent at showing up, and they're consistent at looking at the numbers, and consistent at asking for feedback, like picking apart that feedback, continuing to move forward, catching the wave, understanding momentum, like that information. And so they get really good at repeating these cycles. And a lot of people who are not necessarily great at change sometimes don't don't love that type of momentum. It's like a consistent momentum, but sometimes there's a consistent way of doing things that must be done. Like there's always going to be an aspect of your business that must be done. If you are not consistently showing up online and you're constantly changing things, it's going to be really hard for you to have a steady income, right? If you are not giving yourself enough time and enough data to make a business decision, it's going to be really difficult for you to create that steady income. Again, right? If you are someone who isn't looking at their finances or creating some sort of financial plan for yourself, it's going to be really difficult for you to grow your finances because you choose to not look at it, right? So everything in your life that you choose to have consistency in will always begin to grow at some point. Like it's impossible for it not to. And I also have noticed while working with a lot of clients is 9 times out of 10, a lot of people don't want to be consistent because one, they fear that it's actually going to work, or two, they don't know how to love themselves. They don't know how to love themselves. Because if you can consistently take care of yourself, show yourself self-love, you know your worth, you know the value of being consistent. You know that consistency is the only way to communicate love. Like it's like at a basic level, your consistency communicates to yourself that you are worthy of love. Like you love yourself so much that you are going to consistently show up for yourself and for your business. There becomes no in between. The inconsistency is where the confusion is, where the doubt is, where the imbalances are with spirituality, and likely need some releasing and clearing and things like that. Let me go back and read. Not know where to start in my business. If it was something that was independent, it would be easy. However, working with others is a challenge. It can be a challenge if when you speak like that, it will always be a challenge. Working on your crucial conversations will always help you be around people, even if people are challenging. And coming into union with yourself also helps with that, because you're not going to be as triggered by other people's energy if you are secure in yourself. And it doesn't mean that every once in a while you're not going to get upset, but if you have the belief that working with others is challenging, that is the life you will always live. I've been procrastinating adding another revenue stream. I'm a private chef and want to offer more digital healing, intuitive health, metaphysical readings, courses. What do you do instead of creating the other streams outside of cooking? I still feel doubt inside myself. If I doubt myself, then why should others want to work with me, right? The old patterns want to hold on for dear life. Yeah. I mean, it's just, it's old energy. It's old energy. It's a matter of working on your confidence, right? You have to build your resilience in terms of showing up and release thinking about what other people are going to think. Think about what you think. Think about what you think. Like every time you go to create something and you go to post it, do it for yourself first. Do it for yourself. And ask, like, does this really make me happy? If it does, then continue to post it. It doesn't matter. Then shut your phone off. And if you don't need to be looking at analytics, why? Right? There's like when I was and still am growing my business in different phases, I specifically set up platforms. I don't say to do this at the beginning of your business because you need to be consistent in your business before you add in other platforms. I specifically added in platforms that would get me further away from having to be in the nitty-gritty of the stuff that I knew would slow me down, right? Like, how can I streamline communications with comments? How could I put it all into one place? How could I make it so that at the end of the day, I could shut it off and be done with it. And also, what kind of discipline would I need in order to not be checking on my phone so that I was feeding into that external validation? And so you have to condition yourself to release the information and go back to your life, release the information and go back to your life. So if you are scheduling and things like that, just make sure you post it and you don't go back and look at it. Just don't go back. You can have a day, like maybe the next day, to go answer comments, or, you know, I start to realize when comments start to add up, like I try and answer them like once or twice a week so that I can keep building. And now having someone else who's going to help. So find ways for yourself to not have to doubt your own abilities and withdraw from looking at too many things. When work is done, work is done. If the thoughts are still meandering around throughout the day, you're probably triggering something throughout the day, whether it's being on tech or talking about it or whatever. Like, have a start time and a finish time and be done. Change and I are flirting with one another. Oh, are you going on a date soon? I had a big shift this weekend. Also, I'm like observing these old beliefs and patterns. Hi, Claire. I'm struggling with consistency and timing so much today. So sorry. See, it's fine. We've got like 10 minutes left also before, wait, is it 10 minutes? We have magic to market. Oh, it's at 5:30, so I have a little bit longer. If anybody wants to join today's business class, I highly recommend you join. I still want to put myself out there, even with some doubt. I believe I'm doing my best and have good intentions. Yeah, absolutely. You know that you have good intentions. Doubt will sneak in. It's okay. Yeah, it's a fear-based for me, and it's not a rational fear. Yeah, fear is never rational. It's not even real, but it becomes real. Hi, King Grizzly. How's it going? How's it going? How's it going? I love that you all are being so vulnerable, and you know, during those times, do your best to just, you know, place your hand on your heart and just say thank you for, you know, your body and your energy telling you that something needs to be paid attention to, because if you didn't have those thoughts, you wouldn't know that they were there. And so you are honoring your self-awareness while you are building your business and your creativity, right? But if you're not aware of your self-sabotaging and change and things like that, and giving yourself permission to continue to move through that, it would be very hard to express your magic, to become a creative powerhouse, right? Because some of the best creatives we see, whether they're a writer, activists, right, politicians, they all kind of did the same thing. Musicians, like, they all kept going forward, and they all had moments of doubt. They all had moments of doubt, and it's perfectly normal. It's in those moments, are you going to choose to keep going, or are you going to allow those thoughts to slow you down, right? And notice how it affects your emotions, because sometimes it's easy to get stuck in a depressive state while you are doing your healing and running your business and not taking action, because it's the only thing you know. It's the only thing you know. And so there are some days where you do need to get uncomfortable. You do need to take the action, even if you don't want to take the action, because you need to see if it's actually a fear or if it's something else, right? But you're never going to know until you take the action. And I've seen a lot of businesses go under because people become so depressed when it comes to being forward facing and being an artist, right? Being an artist means you have to be completely vulnerable. You don't have to show everybody everything about you, but you still have to be vulnerable, and you create even when it hurts. You create when you're angry, you create when you're happy, like you create when you're not making money, you create when you are making money. We don't just create to make money. Like, that's not what true creators do, and that's not how they become powerhouses. Creators create consistently and grow their audiences and everything, because they love what they do. They love what they do, and that's their momentum. That's truly their momentum. Their momentum is not the tiny thoughts in their head or what people think about them. It's they love. Like, love is what's fueling them. So I want to ask everybody, is there a part of your business that you wish that you could show up more in, that you haven't yet? It doesn't matter what business you have. I know someone mentioned the cooking, right? Putting yourself out there. Be specific as well. So what is it in your business that you're wanting to physically show up more? Is it live streams? Is it coaching? Is it actually getting your art into an art gallery? Like, what is it? Where are you wanting to show up more powerfully? I know, Nia, you mentioned maybe changing the way your videos are done, but what does that really look like? What do you mean? It seems to be about alignment also. That's a download I got. Yeah, alignment is important. And also there's grit. Like, I'm going to be very honest with all of you. There is time for grit and there is time for alignment. And they do go hand in hand. And there was something that, you know, was a big shift for me as an artist, as a creative, as a multifaceted healer, but also someone who is serious about helping people and doing it in a very impactful way, is I had to learn how to get into a workflow that was going to be powerful, productive, and consistent, really, but mostly powerful and productive, because sometimes I have found myself being around people who were not the wave makers that I really wanted to be around, but because they felt comfortable. And so I had to consciously choose to not take their advice, because their way of working was not my way of working. And sometimes my long hours, because I love my job, is what pushes the needle forward, right? And I remember one distinct night when I was like really pushing through the sabotage, because some people were like, rest, like do all these things. And I was like, now is not the time to rest. I was like, I don't care if you don't understand this. But my business did not get here from taking advice from you. Nope. Didn't come from you. It came from my own work ethic, and it came from being in alignment with my path, but putting in the grit and being productive. But the only way I was able to do that was to be consistent, consistently showing up, not giving myself the wiggle room to sit in my depression for too long. Yes, it would come, and yes, it would feel like it would consume me, but every time I had to coach myself through it. Every time I had to be like, okay, maybe we went to bed at 1 a.m. We're still going to wake up at 5 a.m. We're still going to do it, because that 5 a.m. alarm clock is what gets me going, gets me running, gets me happy, and gives me enough time to get everything done throughout the day. And maybe I have to stay up till 1 a.m. again, right? There's grit and there's alignment, and there's knowing when to use the grit and when to rest. But sometimes when you're growing your business in the beginning, you have to use a little grit. But I feel some people are very afraid of grit. It's not when you're manifesting, it's not a forceful way of doing things. Grit doesn't mean you are forcing things. Grit means you are rolling up your sleeves and digging in. You're digging into possibilities and not allowing your old energy to drive your decisions all day long, right? You do it because you're passionate. You do it because you want to be there. You do it because you see yourself as a CEO, as the owner of your business, and as an impactor, right? If you want to make an impact in the world, you have to be impactful. You have to drive. You have to have goals for yourself, because what are you working to, right? Because sometimes that can be the downfall of spirituality and really spreading your wings as a creative powerhouse, right? This talk This talk is about being a powerhouse. It's dabbling in everything, but powerfully doing it and understanding the types of conversations with yourself and with other people that you actually have to have. I'm aware of my self-sabotaging and I'm choosing to keep going. It's easy to backtrack when it's familiar, push forward through the boredom. I don't feel motivated once it becomes about money. Yeah. I mean, you have to dig into your love, and you also have to be a smart person when it comes to finances, right? Your first lead into your business is, I do this because I love it. I do it because I love myself. I do it because I love other people. I do it because I love this world. And also I love myself and me to understand how money works, right? Depends on how you are going about your path and positioning yourself. But your roots and your mission are always going to be the biggest thing. And understanding that you cannot help people without money, right? Like rooting into that. I can't help people without money. I can't help myself without money. It doesn't mean everything you do is for money. It means carrying that understanding of, I want to help the world. I need a lot of money. I need a lot of money, which means I need to keep going, right? I've had a lot of outside influences hinder me from creating, but creating is what I love, period. Yeah. Outside hindrances happen. I think I'm going to get more specific and say focus, because I have lots of ideas, and focus is something I've struggled with. Yeah, focus can be challenging sometimes, especially with creatives. It's very challenging, but you have to like have that balance, you know? I kind of launched my spiritual life coaching business. However, I'm not confident in what I can offer. What do you mean kind of? What does that look like? What did you halfway launch? I want to see my decks in YouTubers and the community's hands. Do you have a deadline for when you're going to finish your decks? King Grizzly, I know you work well on deadlines. Work backwards. Do you know how long it takes to make your deck? How far it's going, right? We call those lead times. What is your lead time from where it needs to ship? I mean, obviously your cheapest way of doing it is to get it from Asia and then having it ship here and then getting it through clearance and all that kind of stuff. So when are you planning on dropping them? I'm getting that vibration in return from the universe. I love that. Always on a schedule. I can sell a product, but not myself. But can you be specific? What did you launch? What did you do? Give me the tangibles. See your services as a product. I'm going to do that. Like my tarot reading is a product that will help and is highly valuable. Not or whatever, L. It will. It is helpful, yes. It is a product. It is a means to help humanity. I want to show up confidently and consistently on lives. I've had really good experiences so far, but I still feel each time beforehand. Then when I'm here, I get in the groove. Yeah, do one a day. Take off the weekend, or if you go on the weekend, pick a day on the weekend and then, do one a day until it goes away. You'll be fine. It's just old energy. How many lives are you doing right now in 1 week? I want one day for someone to tell me how a book changed their lives and they recommend reading a book I wrote. Yeah, you got to get your book out there. Where are you at with your book deadline? I gave you. Also feel like I want to make content that isn't tarot and share my knowledge. Yeah, build it on the side. Build it on the side. Get consistent with your lives, right? While you build on the side. Do them simultaneously. Put your ideas on paper and implement them into your calendar. I believe in us all. I'm gonna go. I'll catch y'all later. See ya, Elle. I launched my spiritual life coaching business, but I don't know how to proceed. I just announced that I am available, and that was it. Okay, so you're available for life coaching. Do you have, can people book things with you? Like, is there a link? Do you have a pay? Like, what do you have? Where did you announce it? Like on, social media? Was it through email? Was it via mouth? Because once it's out there, you have to start promoting, making videos and whatnot, reaching people, reaching people. I love that you started it. I also just published my book on the 12th. Perfect. I am quite thirsty today. I love that you have your book as well. I wish I knew more to help you. But everyone's welcome to come to Magic to Market so we can go through your businesses. I just did a setup Linktree review booking flow thing for Elle, and that was a lot of fun. And each class has a different theme. I'm not going to be able to review everybody's social media each time because that was the theme that day. But if you need extra help, definitely make sure you are coming to those classes if you feel like you are procrastinating on your business. Today is crafting your signature spiritual offer. So we're going to go over crafting your offer at 5:30. I don't know if you can still book, but you can try. What's the thing? I don't know my niche. I don't say when promoting. So what did you announce? Did you just say that you were available for coaching? Like you are a coach? I'm trying to figure out what you did. Like you told people you are a life coach and that they can book with you. Like, do you have a tangible link? You need to come to Magic to Market so I can understand what you're doing. I need to understand what you're doing. I'm going to be on for like 5 more minutes. But I do want to encourage everybody to continue to think about and ideate around ways that you can overcome your self-sabotage and continue to express your magic. Again, knowing your own tendencies as well. And if you are in More Than Worthy, I can help you with this also, since we go over that and I train you in crucial conversations and self-advocacy and emotional intelligence, since I am trained in those as well. And building your confidence and whatnot. So if you are having trouble, please do apply for More Than Worthy. I have spots open and it'll be very, very advantageous. It's not only do you get your generational healing, which is required to run a business in order to stop self-sabotaging, right? Because you're releasing all of the parts of you that are keeping you from living the life that you are desiring. And it's a great way to pour into yourself while also having a mentorship, right? So you have someone like me who is running their business, a multifaceted business, actually, guiding you, helping you spiritually, but also helping you learn how to show up more powerfully in the marketplace with your authentic voice instead of getting caught up in a lot of the things that don't matter. Like, I don't even know how to explain it, but there's lots of ways that people get caught up, like worrying about so many hashtags and all that stuff, right? Like, let's master you being consistent and getting over fear first, and then we will handle the rest of that. But again, every Monday I teach twice a day for Magic to Market. There's one earlier in the day and there's one in the evening. I also changed the link so that when anybody goes to book, it automatically changes to your specific time zone. So you don't have to go through and click it anymore, but that will be there for you. I will manifest Magic to Market. Yes, definitely do that. And then come prepared to talk about what you have so far and where you want to take your business. But everybody be sure to check out, let me drop in the chat, the Google Calendar. I just dropped it. If you haven't seen the post in the community tab, I highly recommend you go look at it. It has all the links to the Google Calendar, the classes in the Divine Academy, because Monday's Magic to Market, Thursdays, Useful for the Gifted, and Fridays, the Art of Love and Magnetism, and where you do a lot of like personal healing with relationships and things like that, and mother wounds, father wounds, that kind of stuff, showing up magnetic. And there's a subscription. So if you want to work with me one-on-one while also being in the Divine Academy, you can definitely do that. If you want a little bit more attention, right now until the end of November, I have a special package for More Than Worthy where you will have access to the Divine Academy, and it will be in November, part of November, and then it stops. And then it'll just be the Divine Academy. And then More Than Worthy will be separate. So let me know if you have any questions. You're welcome to book a chat as well. Let me see what you said. Yes, I gave myself October 15th for books and cards. I love it. I started sketching my cards last night and hopefully have them done before Halloween. Yes. But now that you said that, the China thing, I need to readjust. Yeah, work backwards. Work backwards. You can create something called a manufacturing calendar. You work, so you have the date. So the date that it leaves the shipping house is your XF date. So you want to know that date and then ask them how long it's going to take to come to you, and then also give an estimate for how long sometimes it takes to go through customs these days because there's a lot of things going on, so that you can work backwards, because right now it's September. I mean, they work pretty quickly, but even getting it before October might be a little tricky. You'd have to like really hustle, really hustle. So make sure you can get it done. Or you can try, if there is a local printer or someone near you, it'll probably be more expensive. The other option you could actually do is if you wanted to use the deck as like a, what is it when people can like invest into your deck and then it ships later? Like maybe it's a gift for the holidays or something while you're continuing to work on it and that kind of stuff. There's also that option. If you can't hit the Halloween deadline, because I would imagine you'd want to see a deck or two before you actually bring it to market so that you know you are receiving the quality that you are desiring. So even with that turnaround, which could sometimes be 1 to 2 weeks, you would, I don't know if you would hit the Halloween timeline, to be honest. Patreon, I think. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so just pay attention to that if you're trying to do Halloween, because it's already September 29th. And so you'd have a month to do all of your proofs, packaging, if you have a booklet, that kind of stuff, marketing assets. And obviously you can push it, like maybe you get your first round or something before October, and then you can start seeding it, or, you know, that kind of thing. And then you can push it all the way through to Christmas or holidays and things like that, December, as gifts. But yeah, having it hit the market, like you'd have to really have a good producer, or you'd have to look for, like, you'd have to work with a deck that's already been manufactured. Like you'd have to make sure you use the right specs. I check out the print shops here. They aren't good, unfortunately. Yeah, I mean, your best bet's going to do overseas. You're not going to find the US doesn't have a lot of good printers, and if we do, they're quite pricey because most of our stuff is imported, and also it's just never been something that we've been good at. And if you want something to be accessible and quick, it's going to have to come from Asia. Yeah, so I wouldn't print anything here. And then there is a website that includes a bunch of, like, I don't know what they're called, a bunch of like indie deck sellers, so you can always sell it through there. I think they take a little bit of a fee, but they're very well known. But yeah, that would be my advice for you, Kevin. You're welcome to come to a Magic to Market if you need help figuring that information out. But yeah, I was in product development, so product development timeline says you're probably not going to hit it. We never say yes or no, but most likely no. So have a plan, start planning, start having conversations, start seeding, even if you don't have a full deck. Start posting about it, promoting it, Make sure your art is actually getting printed so you can see it now. I'm thinking Christmas as well. Okay, I will look into that. Thank you, Z. You're welcome. I've got everything up my sleeves. I basically have done everything in the world. I have not been a mime. I have not done that, but I've done a lot of things that can help cross-functionally for lots of creatives. And if you have questions about like packaging and RS testing, like restricted substances and things like that, like things to look for, just let me know. But make sure you come to a Magic to Market class once you have your information, and I can help you. I figured that too. Okay, good. All right, everybody, I'm going to get going. Make sure you go out and show your face to the world. Use a little grit, use a little bit of alignment. Tomorrow we have the collective tarot, which I'm really excited about. I'm doing tarot 10 again towards the end. So if you have questions, you are welcome to use your CashApp to submit tarot 10, and I will pull 2 cards for you and do a quick reading. I will see you all there. I will see folks in Magic to Market in like 15 minutes. Woo! And I will talk to you soon. Goodbye, everybody.